Welcome once again to the Punk Wrestling Podcast. I am RM Punk, and today we are going to review Smackdown. Wasn't the best episode of Smackdown we've ever seen, but there was plenty of good things to be had and some interesting things to talk about. So we'll get straight into it. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for their support so far. The NXT video did really well, so any new fans, welcome. Every bit of support is always helped, so give me a like, give me a subscribe, and we'll get to it, shall we? We started off, Michael Cole's in the ring, and he brings out Daniel Bryan after a quick recap. Basically, a bit of main event hype for the cage match, and Michael's asking, he'll throw a spanner in the work of the planned tag team match at Fastlane, and they bring up the graphic for the tag team match. Cole asked Bryan why he would forgo the opportunity for the tag team match in favour of a title match. I think I've worked the answer out for that one. Anyway, so he asked the question, and Bryan responds, so you're making a lot of assumptions there. For one, he was never asked to be in a tag team match. No one pitched it to him. They just know that he rolls with the punches and does what he's asked and puts the work in. He understands why Edge wouldn't have asked him. And he understands why Roman wouldn't have asked him, because Roman doesn't want to defend his title. But he doesn't want to be that Daniel Bryan anymore. He doesn't want to be just doing what they're asked. He goes short of basically saying he's been putting everyone over. And he says they've got this dream match, Edge versus Roman. He calls it Attitude Era versus Thunderdome, which, okay. But he doesn't want to see it. Everyone else might want to see it, but he doesn't. And he wants to make sure it doesn't happen. And he throws up his own video package, which is the Elimination Chamber highlights, how beaten down Bryan was, yet still fighting. He says he's lost a lot in his career and been beaten up a lot of times. And you'd think that after winning his third Elimination Chamber match and then fighting against Roman but losing, he'd be okay with it. It'd be no big deal. But when Edge rolled in, pointed at that sign, he felt like a failure. He says he doesn't have a ton of ambition, that he once took an ambition test and he scored the lowest of any WWE people, which I've heard before. And the lady doing the test asked, how is he still successful despite having no ambition? And it's because he loves this. He doesn't have to work a day in his life. He just loves coming in. And it's shown by the fact that he's wrestled more times in the last 3 weeks than Roman or Edge have in the last 3 months. He sort of talks about how he was transitioning to become a full-time dad, and he's been putting other people over, like I said, and that, he's put himself on the back burner. And that's why he's a failure to himself. And he should be in the main event of WrestleMania because he loves it. So he can be the best. He will be the best. He'll beat Jay, he'll beat Roman, and he'll be the main event of the WrestleMania, and this could be his last chance to do so. Durnan. This calls out Roman. We've got Roman, Jay, and Heyman out. We get to break. When we come back, they're in the ring. And Roman's like, I'm looking at the same guy, but you don't sound like the same guy. The way you're talking is confusing me. And if it's confusing me, it must be confusing the audience. Daniel Bryan isn't ambitious, driven, no. You're the underdog, you're the little guy, you're the lotto winner. You're the guy who waits on an opportunity and sometimes it works out for you. You're not ambitious, I'm driven. If I want to take it, if I need it, I want to take it. You say you love this, but you don't love this. You need this. I love this. I don't need this. They need me. Which is a really nice line. And he says, after Jay whoops you, you'll understand that you need me and you'll acknowledge me. Looks like Daniel Bryan's going to respond, but Jay rips the mic out of his hand, says you've not locked, you've set this cage match up so that Roman can't get involved, but you've locked me in with you. Jay tries to do a cheap shot, but Daniel Bryan stands tall and faces off with Roman. Daniel Bryan and Roman are just simply two of the best you've got in WWE, in wrestling in general. Great promos from both men. It was long, but it all worked. I enjoyed it. So let me know what you thought. After that, we get the Street Profits are out. And we are led to understand that it's going to be Street Profits versus Sammy and Corbin again. Street Profits in the ring. Looks like they're going to talk, but Sammy interrupts before they get a word in. Says, last week was a fluke. Tonight will prove it wasn't a fluke. Like, it was a fluke, even. Corbin comes out. He's like, stop. We're not tag team partners. I don't like you, and I refuse to be your tag team partner. I'm a singles competitor. And challenges either of the Street Profits to a singles match. Street Profits are like, well, yeah, we got time. Yeah, Montez like, yeah, I'll face you. Dirty Dogs are dodging us for a tag team title match anyway. We want the smoke. And Dawkins is like, well, if you get Corbin, I'll take Sammy. And Sammy's like, no. This is all a setup. Are you all working together? This is not how it works. I agree to a tag match. But that's how it is. It's Corbin versus Montez next, and this was very short. Corbin hits a spine buster. Ford gets a bit of offense in. Looks like he's going to be rolling on, but Sammy and the camera crew cause a distraction, and and that sets up the end of days. Corbin wins. So Corbin leaves the ring, and Sammy's like, help me out here. I helped you, you helped me. And Corbin's like, you didn't help me. I won the match. And Sammy's like, I just handed you that match, which is, to be fair, accurate. So Corbin's like thinking about it, and Sammy gets on the apron, and Dawkins knocks him off the apron into Corbin, and Corbin's like, oh, you hit me. Why you hit me? And Sammy's like, you saw? Like, Dawkins just pushed me into you. And Corbin's like, no, you're on your own, mate. You're on your own. And so we get Sammy versus Dawkins. Sammy's in control early on. Dawkins is losing his sweatbands around the arena. Dawkins makes a comeback. Hits the silencer for 2. But Sammy gets back, gets the exploder into the corner, setting up the hell of a low kick. And how do we distract Sammy this time? Montez goes to the camera crew and is getting in the camera crew's face like, you seeing this? The Street Profits, we want the smoke, all this. And this causes Sammy to get rolled up by Dawkins for the free, and your winner, Angelo Dawkins. Sammy, after the match, goes to the camera crew, and what's all this? And he's like, who are you? To one of the camera crew. I didn't hire you. Who are you working for? And then beats up the camera guy. Okay, fine, yeah. Short segments here. I like the chemistry between Sammy and Corbin. I don't really need another put together tag team, but I do like their chemistry. A very quick segment after this. Reggie is out giving a bottle of champagne to Carmella, and Carmella's like, you like playing games, let's play the game Who's the Snake, and cut it to it short. You're the snake, and Reggie is fired. It's not a good day for Reginald. Next up we get Dominic Mysterio versus Chad Gable. Chain wrestling to start. Gable's focusing on the leg. Dom gets an insecurity for a bit of a comeback, but you get a double chicken wing suplex from Gable, which was nice. Trading pin attempts and roll-ups, and Dom wins with a crucifix pin. Ray does a hit and run and Otis for good measure, with a drop kick and the seated senton onto the announce table, onto Otis, and then legs it, headbutting the cameraman on his way out. This was, again, a short match, but it was very fluid. Obviously, Gable can do great things. He's one of the best they've got in the ring. Dominic isn't there yet, but with a good opponent, he can shine, and he was keeping up with Gable here, and it was a very good match for what it was. Yeah, nice. Next up, we get Seth, and he has got a lovely magenta suit on. Lovely. I wouldn't mind wearing one of those myself. It just, wow. And he's like, Kayla asks why that swing felt like it was forever. And Seth's like, yeah, it was forever. Why was it so long? Because Cesaro's afraid of us. He doesn't want to embrace the vision. He wants to embarrass me, and I won't forget that. Out of nowhere, a rare Murphy appears. And Murphy, after all this story with Seth, turning on him, winning, going off with Aaliyah Mysterio, And what does Murphy have to say? Maybe I could help you out with the Cesaro situation. Oh, okay, fine. Yep. They've not done anything with Murphy. He was better with Seth. If that's the way they want to go, then fine. But they don't do that. Seth's just like, get out of my sight. Don't want anything to do with you. Okay, next. We get Shayna versus Bianca Bellaire. At ringside is obviously Nia. We also get Sasha, and followed behind Reginald. If you don't know, they have announced that at Fastlane, Shayna and Nia will be defending against Bianca and Sasha for the titles. Why? I do not know. Lana and Naomi are the #1 contenders. They're defending on NXT. They've defended on SmackDown, defending on Raw. I'm happy that they're defending them everywhere. But why Sasha and Belair is just to further the Sasha Belair storyline. The tag championships can be used to highlight talent aren't in the main event of the women's division. Like, it could be used to put more women on the TV show. Doesn't need to be what it is. Anyway, rant over. We'll get to the match. Shayna's focusing on the arm. Obviously, Shayna is taking body parts. At one point, this is sort of how it finishes. Belair gets thrown out the ring. She pushes Reggie over into Nia. Nia goes after Reggie, but Reggie dodges out the way and Nia hits Sasha. In the meantime, Belair's a bit distracted. Shayna hits the Carafina clutch onto Belair, but Belair just powers out, hits the KOD anyway and wins. So Belair's leaving the ring and she goes, Sasha's like, you need to finish this, it's your fault. Deal with this, pointing at Reggie. And she leaves and Sasha starts playing along Reggie and then slaps him. Not a good day for Reginald. Not a good day. It was not a happy bunny. Yeah. I just don't know what to say about this one. I like Reginald. I think it's quite funny. Sasha and Belair stuff is fine. But what was Belair moaning about? She won the match easily anyway. They don't need to be in a tag team title match. They need to be feuding. And I'm sure the match will, the feud will start after Fastlane in full swing. But yeah, just didn't hit right with me. Little backstage segment with Roman and Jay. Roman saying, I hope you understand that the championship is safe if you win tonight. If you lose, I have to defend it. That's not a problem. But if you do lose, you embarrass yourself and our family. Don't lose. And Uso says, got this, Us. Fine, cool. Murphy versus Cesaro. First match for Murphy in a long time on TV. And Seth comes out for commentary. He was good on commentary here. As you would expect, him and Corey have a good relationship and nice back and forth there. Cesaro was on top early on. Murphy does hit a nice dive and a Meteora. We get the uppercuts and a long swing, long ass swing, the sharpshooter for the submission victory, and Seth gives him a good old clap. Big win, big swing. It was a nice match, could have gone longer. Murphy and Cesaro could be a pay-per-view level match if they wanted to. They are both unbelievably good in the ring. It's a shame that Murphy's fallen so far off the radar at this point. So hopefully now he's back on TV, we can start getting something back. Backstage, Reggie's got his bag in hand and he knocks on Sasha's door. Sasha says no and slams the door in his face. He carries on walking. Walks past Nia and Shayna starts doing some bullying, says he smells of failure, and calls him out for a fight, and Nia's like, nah, chill, don't you see what I see? He's kind of cute. Alright. Odd. Obviously, I think what Nia's actually getting to is he could be of use in their tag team match at Fastlane, but what is it with Nia falling in love with all these people? I don't know. Next up, we get Apollo. So I'm going to tread lightly with this bit. The music's been remixed. It's got some African drums in. He now has a spear and he has military bodyguards. This is a fine line they're treading here. He has kept the full Nigerian accent. He cut a very good promo about racial inequality and how he's changed because he was humiliated, because people would humiliate him, and how he spoke and things like that. So that was nice. There was some realness there that felt good, but they are definitely treading a fine line. They say they don't like the new Apollo. Well, this is the real Apollo. This is how I talk. I'm a real African American, and this is my elite guard. I was never taken seriously. People made fun of me. Big E tried to conquer me. He tried to humiliate me. He did what he had to do. You fear me. I'm no longer trying to fit in. I no longer beg. I demand for a rematch for the IC title, and you will be humiliated by my total victory. Some of this I absolutely loved. Like I said, militant gimmicks have to tread a fine line. Anything racial in regards to where you come from and things like that, again, have to tread a fine line. I loved a lot of what was said, but this does make me feel slightly uneasy, and it could head in directions that are very poor in taste. You know that Big E, in his character, would be making fun of the fact that Apollo now speaks with a different accent. Do you need a military guard for this gimmick? Or is that too much? Is it overkill? Again, let me know what you think. I don't want to get into it too much. I liked it, but it could very much turn into poor taste, in my opinion. Next up, Natty and Tamina are in the office with Pierce and Sonya, and they are asking why are they not in the tag team title match at Fastlane? Why is it Sasha and Bellaire? Haven't they seen how dominant they've been? Oh, it's been against the Riot Squad, but they have a point. Like I said, if you're going to have the tag team titles defended on all brands, have it against people that are not in the main event on that current brand. But anyway, and basically Pierce says, well, I made this decision. That's the decision I've made. And Sonya's kind of like, yeah, that's the decision he made quite quickly. It's not where I would have gone. So interesting little bits going on here. See where that one goes. Jay gets interviewed quickly. He's not sweating Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan does a hit and run on Jay, and off he goes. Quick backstage thing before the main event. Ding dong, hello. Bayley is trying out segments, by the look of it anyway. And she's doing a sweet tweets segment. So she's got some cards and she is basically reading tweets out that were nice about Bayley. She reads 2 out, and then the third one she obviously doesn't like, and she storms off and slams the door. Alright, fine. Yeah, I don't know the point of that. Prior to the main event, cage is down and Corey Graves is in the cage. No, he's not in the cage match, but he's here to tell us how a cage match works, by the way. Giving us the rules, understanding how tall the cage is, just in case we forgot, I guess. And we get to the main event. Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso in a steel cage match. Roman and Paul are at ringside. Roman's sitting in a chair on the ramp. This was a very good match. Of course it was. It was Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso in a cage match. If I told you this was bad, would you believe me? They used the cage really well here. Early on, Jay's pushing Daniel Bryan's face into the cage, and Roman asks for more. Jay throws him into the cage. There's a bit trying to escape. Bryan gets some more fronts in. Again, using the cage. It's the missile drop kick. Daniel Bryan starts working the arm and shoulder, throwing him shoulder first into the cage. Bryan does try climbing out, but Jay gets him into a tree and woe and starts stamping on the knee when he's in tree and woe. They're both on the top at this point, and you get a Samoan drop from the top rope, which was nice. Back from the break, and they're both on top of the cage. We get yes kicks on the top rope. Jay hits a splash. For 2, that looked like it landed quite high on the head there. Luckily, it seems okay. Jay tries some more door escape. Daniel Bryan holds a leg. They trade kicks for a bit. You get nice crucifix elbows from Daniel Bryan putting him in a crucifix and boom, boom, nice. Jay reverses it into some ground and pound of his own. Slingshots Daniel Bryan into the cage. Jay's looking at Roman. He's trying to climb the cage. They're both on the top again. Bryan's ramming his shoulder into the cage. Does a top rope butterfly suplex and transitions straight into the yes lock, which was lovely. Jay gets to the rope, but it's a cage match. There is no rope break, don't you remember? And Daniel really cranks the yes lock here. It looked painful. And Jay taps. And your winner and going to Fastlane to face Roman Reigns is Daniel Bryan. This was a great match. The cage was used perfectly. It could have been longer if you didn't have Corey Graves telling us the rules to a cage match. And I would have preferred that. Side note, Jay is on a true losing streak right now. The last match he won on TV was November the 6th against Kevin Owens. Whew. Main event. So, like I said, there were bits I didn't like here, but in all, I still enjoyed the show. SmackDown just flows for me. I just enjoy it. So let me know what you thought. I've seen mixed here and there. Some people love it, some people hate it. Like I said, I think there were some great points and some bits in the middle that didn't quite work. But yeah, like, share and subscribe. Peace, love, good night.